You know, a lot of people that watch my channel are aware that I am originally from West Virginia. And because of that fact, that they know I'm from West Virginia, I'm actually from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the home of the infamous Mothman. Because of that fact, I get one question quite often. And no, that question isn't, have I ever had romantic relations with a goat, or am I married to my cousin? It's, what do I think of constitutional carry? And the reason I'm getting that question a lot lately is because West Virginia just passed constitutional carry. In fact, they had to override a governor veto to do it. The people wanted it, their representatives passed it, the governor vetoed it, sent it back to the representatives passed it again with a margin that prevented him from vetoing it. They were able to override his veto by passing it with an overwhelming majority. Now, a lot of people might say, well, what is constitutional carry? Well, constitutional carry just says that if you can legally buy a gun, you can carry that gun open or concealed. A lot of places would allow you to carry openly without a permit, but you had to have a permit to carry the gun concealed. In constitutional carry states, you don't have to have a permit to carry at all. Now, I know because of that, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, everyone in West Virginia is going to get killed. Or as we say in West Virginia, they're going to get killed. But that just doesn't hold true. It doesn't make sense when you look at the states that have constitutional carry versus states that have very strict requirements for concealed carry permits. None of that stuff actually weighs out. In fact, training requirements as a whole just don't seem to have any effect whatsoever on safety or being able to carry a gun competently. In fact, in my opinion, all training requirements do is impose a limit on who can get a carry permit, who can be able to carry. It gives the government a way to weed out certain people. Because when you make it cost money and take time, people that can't afford that extra money or can't afford to take that time out of their work schedules, then they get left out of the process. That's kind of a way the government can say, you know, poor people shouldn't be able to carry a gun. They probably won't be able to meet these requirements. So let's put these requirements in place to kind of limit their ability to get a gun permit. That actually does bear out. That actually does make sense and does work with the numbers, but safety doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think there are many beneficial aspects to required training, but I don't think the time you should do it is when a grown adult who can legally own a gun buys one. At that point, a person who can legally own a gun and is an adult should be able to use that gun in whatever manner they see fit as long as they do so legally and responsibly. The time for training requirements would be in high school. High school kids, 17-year-olds, seniors. Sit them down for a week, give them a more in-depth training course. This would be the perfect time to do so. These people are geared for learning at this age. They're learning all the time. So giving them something else to learn wouldn't be that much of a burden on them, and they'd get the most out of it. And it's a great way to uniformly spread the knowledge. If everyone in high school gets it, then everyone will know it, or at least have an equal opportunity to know it. Now, some people say, oh, that'd be too expensive. It wouldn't be expensive at all. The NRA would cover a lot of it, and the rest of it could probably be covered by volunteers. I know I would love to volunteer for a program like that. In fact, if anyone in the Pacific Northwest area knows of a program like that I could be involved with, let me know. Or if you want to start up a program like that and you want me to help, let me know. I would love to do so. And yes, I can legally be involved in that. A lot of people might think that I have an anklet on that would go off if I got near a grade school or a high school, but that's just not the case. Now, inevitably, some fool that doesn't understand scale will come up to me and say, well, how can you support that people should have to have a license to drive a car, but not to carry a gun? Well, that's easy. Cars are far more dangerous than guns. When I'm driving a car, I'm actually actively driving it, and I'm out around a lot of people. And when people have an accident with a car or a collision with a car through negligence, it usually involves other people, and people get harmed all the time that way. When I carry a gun, I'm actually not using it. It's just sitting in my holster all the time, not being touched, not being used, not presenting a danger to anyone. It's not nearly as dangerous as a car. Me carrying my gun would be about as dangerous as a car that you have in a storage building that you never drive. You don't have to have a license to own a car and store it in a building and never drive it. You only have to have a license once you're going out there around other people actively using it. And one of the best things about being able to defend yourself and having a concealed carry gun on you is that we live in a country where we almost never have to actually do it. So it's not relatable to the issue with licensing cars at all, in any way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm someone that does believe in preventative laws. I think you can pass laws that prevent bad things from happening, but those laws have to be actually shown to prevent the bad things. You can't just do it and say, well, it probably won't work, but let's do it anyway. Let's restrict people's freedom for no reason. You have to have a good reason and be able to show good cause. And requirement trainings for carry just don't do that. In fact, it's the opposite. There's absolutely no evidence that training requirements make people safer. States that have little or no training requirements have no greater rate of accident or injury through carrying a firearm than states that have strict requirements. I live in a state that has almost no requirements on getting a carry permit. You just got to be able to write a check and be able to legally own a gun. We do not have any high rate of injury or accident or misuse of a gun when compared to states that have strict requirements like Oregon right next to us. Oregon has a much stricter requirement for getting a carry permit than we do here in Washington, yet their rates of accidents and negligence and etc. with a firearm are about the same as ours. So the training makes no difference. And that seems to hold across the country. In fact, if you look at states that have constitutional carry where there's no requirements whatsoever, they are usually among the safest states when it comes to firearms. Those people seem to have less accidents, less issues, less misuses than states that have very strict requirements. Recently, a study came out that listed the 6 states where people are most likely to be injured by a firearm, and a lot of the times it's children that get injured by these firearms. But out of these 6 states, 4 of them have very strict requirements for training to get a carry permit. And in fact, in most of those cases where people get injured, it's not a training issue at all, it's a storage issue. Someone gets a hold of the gun that shouldn't, usually children. So if you really wanted to do something about safety in those states, people like Feinstein wouldn't be trying to pass anti-gun laws. They would pass laws that say, hey, if you buy a gun safe for $200, you're going to get a $200 tax rebate. We're going to encourage you to be safe with your firearms in a way that would actually make a difference. But you'll never see them do that because safety's not their real agenda. Control is their real agenda. So you'll never see them do anything common sense like that. So in the end, I just want to say congratulations to my fellow West Virginians for obtaining a right that you should have already had, that you wanted badly, that you fought for, that you even overrode your elected leader to get. And to answer those people that wonder where I stand on the requirements to have training to carry a gun, I'm against it. And why am I against it? Well, because I don't frighten easily, and I'm not bad at math. You ain't even my real dad. The process, because that in this pocket. What the fuck is in here? I don't know what it was. Ooh.
Sorry about your homie. Homies.
On it, and that eliminates the. What the fuck was that? Cars are far more. Fuck. Knocked over my Lysol. Fuck, I hit the paper. Get out of here! Get! Congratulations to West Virginia for obtaining a right that you should have already. What the fuck is beeping? West Virginians for obtaining a right that you should have. What is fucking banging? So in the end, I just want to say congratulations to. I don't know if I heard that time or not. You fought hard for, and you should have had already. God damn! I don't frighten easily, and there's. That's a little better. So first off, I want to say congratulations. Ah, man, voice. Go easy on me. I'm getting over pneumonia. I just don't support it. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Ugh. God damn. I think I got fleas. The lights make me itchy.